So come to standing and lift and roll the shoulders, opening the gateways. And then breathing in, circle the arms up, clasp and reverse. And then breathing out, go to one side. Come to the centre, lift up, and breathing out, go to the other side. Breathing in, lifting up. Turn slightly to one side. Come to the centre and turn slightly to the other side. And come to the centre. Just testing your balance before we lower the arms. Lift your heels. Well done. And then as you lower your heels, keep your heels a millimetre off the ground. Put the weight into the heels and stretch up. And then breathing out, lower the heels, lower the arms. Lift and roll the shoulders again. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Come to the centre, turn the head to the right. Again, into the left. And breathing out, out to the right. And then come to the centre. And just very gently swaying from side to side. So moving all 5 energies in the Eastern world. And you can lift your heel. And just very gently start to slow the swaying down. And then start to come to the centre. The lifting and rolling the shoulders opens the upper gateways, particularly around the collarbones. In Ayurveda, they talk about the diseases of the upper head, so all the dementias and Parkinson's are where things kind of go a bit haywire. They believe that lifting and rolling the shoulders opens the gateway of the pathway of energy into the head, so it's helpful. That's the thought behind it. And then clasp your hands behind your back, open your shoulders, aim the knuckles to the ground, and then very gently turn to the left, come to the centre, and breathing out, turn to the right, and then come to the centre. Release the hands, and then circle the hands, wrists up, stretch out, circle the wrists down. And this is a brain coordination. Raise your right arm, and then just circle the wrists. They'll go their own way, one direction. Circle them the other way. I can't do the next one, so it's an option to circle one wrist one way and the other wrist the other way. It does my head in. I can't do it. But anyway, just release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then raising the left arm. Circle one way. Circle the other way. And then optionally start one movement with one hand, and then it just goes wrong with me. I just can't do it. The other way.
Setting on the side and the
Side, is it? Mm-hmm. So your brain is very focused. Mine's obviously not. So just then lift and roll the shoulders. And then standing comfortably, just start to hula hoop the hips. So you're working your lower abdominal energy in one direction. And then just circle the hips in the opposite direction. And then come to relax your arms, lift and roll your shoulders. And then we're going to come to half salute to the sun to start with, hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees and circle the arms up, palms together. Bring the palms through the centre, bend the knees, and come to place the hands on the shins. Breathing in half lift, Breathing out, soften the knees, soften the elbows, curl in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down, roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, raising the hands up. And breathing out, lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. Palms together at the heart centre. Again, half salute to the sun, soften the knees, circle the hands up. Bring the hands through the centre, soften the knees, and bring the hands onto the shins. Half lift. Breathing out, soften in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees and press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, hands up. Join the thumbs and just very gently circle from side to side. And then lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then come to the top of the mats, which I think you're virtually all there, for salute to the sun. And obviously the dog lovers, there's your own variations. Soften the knees, circle the hands up, stretch up. Bring the hands through the centre, hands down to the shins, half lift. And breathing out, soften the knees, touch the hands to the floor, and step or slide the right foot back, keep high for a moment. And then either optionally come into plank, or drop your right knee to the ground and slide your left knee back. If you've gone into plank, drop your both knees to the ground. Keeping your toes either tucked or flat. Your preference, breathing in, dipping your back, looking up. So this is cat-cow, breathing out, rounding chin to chest. Breathing in, dipping back. And breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And a couple of times in your own time, your own breath pattern, you're mobilising the spine. And then coming to neutral onto all fours. I'll try and get it right this time. Slide your right foot back and tuck your right toes under. Just come slightly forwards and backwards. Tummy in, and then extend your left arm. You can stay here. If you want to take it a step further, engage your tummy towards the spine to lift the right leg up and extend the right heel so that the body's in a straight line. And then breathing out, lower the left hand and the right knee. And just sway the bottom a little bit from side to side. And as you sway, you can look over one shoulder and then the other shoulder. So as your hips sway to the left, you might look over your right shoulder, and the hips sway to the right, you can look over your left shoulder. Just freeing up the energy here. And then come to the centre and slide your left foot back, tucking your left toes under. You can stay here. Optionally, the next stage would be to raise your right arm, looking down, tummy slightly in towards the spine. And if you want to take it to the next stage, which is optional, lift your left leg, extend your left heel. So you're really working into the core here. Perhaps not as much as your Pilates class, Charlotte, but it's a full workout. And then lower the hand, lower the knee. Knees wide apart. And just come to bring your bottom towards your heels, stretching out the back. So your bottom doesn't have to come straight to the heels if you've got any knee restrictions. Just find a comfortable level. You can have your bottom up, you can stretch your hands out, you can just slightly shift or oscillate from side to side as well. But you're stretching out the back, particularly the upper back here. If you want support for your head, you can bend elbows a little bit more and place your forehead on your hands making a fist so that your head is supported. Restful for the heart and restful for the nervous system. Forward bend. With the knees open, it connects into the lower lymphatic system, so your immune system. And then very, very gently pressing your hands down to come back to all fours. And then tuck your toes under. We're going to come ultimately to standing back at the top of the mat. But you can do this via downward dog again as an option. Walking the dog by bending one knee and then bending the other. And then walking the feet to the hands to the feet. Softening the knees, holding the elbows for a moment to really stretch out the back. And then release the hands, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then when you get there, breathing out, and your next breathe in, just raise the hands up. And once more, just circle the wrists down. And lift to roll the shoulders and come to the top of the mat. Come to the left side, hands together at the heart centre, soften the knees, circle up, hands together. Come through the centre, bend the knees. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, soften in. And then just drop your hands to the floor. And this time step back with your left foot, keep it high. You can either just drop your left knee to the ground and slide your right knee back, or you can come in a plank version in a straight line and then drop both knees to the ground. And feet either flat or tucked, breathing in, cat cow, looking up and then breathing out round and chin comes to chest. Breathing in, lifting up, and then breathing out, chin to chest. And again, we're going to focus on the shoulders, which we have done. Take your right hand, turn the palm up and slide it behind your left hand, coming onto the right side of the head and the right shoulder. So again, you can come a little bit or you can come a lot. It's stretching out the right shoulder, the right side of the head. Press the left hand down, and you might want to move your left hand out towards the edge of the mat a little bit. And then this is optional. You can slide your left foot back, just stretching out the left leg. And you're stretching out onto the left toes. Optional. And then just bring your left knee to the ground. Sliding your right hand back to all fours. And then just very gently move your bottom from side to side. And then turn your left palm up and then do the same, sliding your left palm up, behind your right palm, it's quite a way behind. Press your right hand into the ground, maybe move your right hand more to the right. And come onto your left shoulder. If you don't make your left shoulder, that's fine, but you're still stretching out the top of the back, all the way along the back. And you can stay here, or if you feel very stable, you can extend your right foot back, tucking your right toes under. I would suggest lifting the right foot up, might send you tumbling to the other side.
Yes.
You've really got to engage your core and then extend your heel. It's a very precarious lift, but it does again emphasize core strength. Bend the knee back to the ground, slide your left hand up and come back to all fours. Yeah, and then just once more come to move your hip from side to side. And again, as you slide your hip one way, look over one shoulder, slide the hip the other way, look over the other shoulder. And then tucking your toes as an option. We're going to come to standing again. Lift up into your downward dog, if that's an option for you. Lengthen the back, perhaps widen the feet. Heels out, toes in, and just walk the dog. Otherwise, start to come to standing. And from the downward dog, extend both legs. Your heels don't have to touch the ground, and then start to walk feet to hands, hands to feet, and just step in. Press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing, and then coming to raise the arms. And again, just circular wrists. For anybody who's been involved in close dexterity work, just shake your fingers out and perhaps pull one finger. This is for arthritis. Shake and then over to the other. So we're going to come to a shoulder and an eye exercise. Shoulder restrictions, bend your elbows as you're moving it less. Step forward with your left foot. And your right foot goes out to be comfortable and to feel supported. And then just make a fist lightly with your right hand, thumb, and you're going to circle your elbow, your arm. You bend it at the elbow. You're watching your thumb. So particularly when you look behind you, try and keep your hips forward, but that's almost impossible. You're watching your thumb in the circle, and so it becomes a shoulder, neck, and eye exercise. Because you're raising your eyes up, it almost becomes a mindfulness exercise. And then just gently reverse the circle. Just when you're ready, you go backwards. You can press your right heel into the ground to steady you, to just make sure that you're grounded. And then just release your hand. Step your left foot back, lifting your shoulders, just slightly swaying from side to side. And then when you're ready, step your right foot forward. I have to think about that. Left foot goes out. Make a very light fist with your left hand. And again, circle in one direction. The eyes going up to the top of the head, which you have to do here, disconnects the brain from stress centres, so you have a temporary or you have a perspective change. It's hard to carry stress. And remember to bend your elbows more if your shoulder is restricted. And then when you're ready, go the other way. Then just come to stillness, step your right foot back, and then just again hula hoop one way onto the lower abdominal area, and then hula hoop the other way. And then before we come to a seated position, just where the collarbone goes to the end, what's that bit there? At the end of the collarbone, underneath.
The clavicle collarbone.
Yeah.
It's the head of your humerus, I think, isn't it?
Thank you. Head of your humerus. That is your K27, which is your essence of vitality, so your energy. So if you're feeling a little bit stressed and you want to revamp yourself, it's here. And it just, again, is, it's not just the K27, it's just a whole area. So this comes within, if any of you have ever attended Karen's EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique or training, tapping is releasing emotion and just freeing up the body and mind. If you really want to take it a step further, not be declared insane, you can do the same tapping on top of your head and just kind of, just almost tapping your fingers and perhaps going down to the side of the head. And then just release. You can do that anytime. Lift and roll the shoulders. Hands together in Hakini Mudra, fingertips together. If you want to focus or concentrate or just tune out from everybody, this is quite a good one to do that. Just gazing the tips of the fingers. And then releasing and coming down to the ground. And just having your legs out in front of you. We are making our way gradually down to the mat. Hands under the bottom to just reposition your bottom. Very familiar, you can touch your hands to either side, just bounce your legs and just circle the ankles in one direction and circle the ankles in the other direction. Open the feet and just relax them. And then this very familiar, either rubbing or tapping or both, you're just almost like waking up the energy. Just rub, tap, practices. It doesn't have to be confined to the legs, it can be confined elsewhere in the body. And then just coming to come forward, but in a very soft, gentle, legs apart, however little or much you want. Just lengthen the body and turn the body slightly to the left side. Lead with the chest, coming forward, your hands going to either side or on your legs. And when you think, oh, that's enough for me, just relax the head, relax down. So this is a relaxed forward bend. It would be a variation of something called Janushirasana, which is head to knee. You're opening your inner groin, so the space here, your lower lymphatic system. Just a subtle rotation lengthens along the back on one side. And the forward bend, the chin slightly to chest, is common for the nervous system. It activates or works on the vagus nerve, which doing the chin to chest is anti-inflammatory. It's important not to overstrain or try and come down too far. Just almost imagine a cushion there that you're lifting up and coming forward, which leading with the chest does. And your heels are extended, so your toes are up, which activates the inner leg a little bit more. And then just very, very gently walk the hands up, come to the centre, come to either hands outside, lengthen the body. If you want to increase the feeling of the stretch, you can optionally raise your hands, thumbs together, turn towards the outstretched right leg, tummy slightly in, lead with the chest. I bend my elbows for lower back support. You don't have to. And slide your hand either down your shins or to either side of you, whatever feels more comfortable. Leading with the chest, and when you've got to where you feel comfortable, just relax forward. So one final point on this pose, which I find very difficult, is to feel that you're extending your sides evenly. I tend to crunch down on the right, to the right, but it's coming almost centre and just lengthening both sides. And then just very gently begin to walk the hands up. And a thought for Sue. Soles of the feet together. Reflexologist, she's looking at me horrified.
No, I was just trying to
think of the body that anybody wants to mention or that Sue would like to focus on today.
Well, we're talking about the lower lymphatic system, which is obviously when you're stretching, and this is an easy one to do when you're sitting like this. It's around your ankle area. So if you just press your thumbs in a circle round your ankle bone, that activates the reflex points for the lower lymphatic system. It is on the outside of the ankles as well, but it's a bit more difficult to do both at the same time. So you can sit the other way if you want to. Or just do it round in a sort of circle. That just, if you've got puffy ankles or whatever, stiff ankles, which obviously in the heat and everything, so that's what that helps that.
Yeah. I love my ankles being massaged.
This is quite relaxing, isn't it? Yeah.
Just feel a little bit.
And you have to sort of sit a bit another way to be able to do the outside. The outside is quite good as well, but easier on the other side to do both together like this. And then the upper lymphatic system for your chest area is down between your in between each toe. So it's down, if you do it down about like an inch, you come down between each toe.
About an inch.
Yes, it's roughly that. I mean, obviously it varies, and I've also got different sized feet, but just roughly. So just moving your fingers and thumbs. And that's quite hard to do at the same time, but that's the for the upper lymphatic system. So that's the lower, and this is the upper one. Down in between each toe. So at the front of your toe.
While we're doing all this, we're opening the hips, which is good for pelvic
We're doing those at the
flow,
same, so you do double whammy,
you know,
yes.
lymphatic. You can also do the similar pose, lying on the ground with your legs sort of semi-supine up the wall, with lots of support underneath you. And that's also quite nice as well. But it's just a sort of love thy feet sort of aspect. And then just enjoy the last few massages. Slide your hands to underneath your thighs, bring your legs up. We're going to come to lying. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. And as we have done the other day, a couple of you won't have done it, just do nothing more, if you think I've gone mad, than open your mouth. So it releases tension in the mandible, the lower jaw, and it relaxes the, Charlotte, help me, meninges, which are the, is it at the brain membranes?
It's the membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord.
Thank you. And apparently it's very helpful if you've had a lot of tension and had a lot of dental work done. It releases out tension in that area. And you do it for about 10 to 15 seconds. 5, 10, 15 seconds. And then, with your mouth still open, just move your jaw from side to side. So again, that's on the jaw tension. And again, helpful for people who've had dental work. I think we possibly all have had dental work done. And then gradually just release and relax, closing the mouth. And come to a pelvic tilt. So flatten the back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom. And as I think you said, Sue and Charlotte, Patsy, I can't remember who it was, but Charlotte and Patsy, and Sue, was it? Scooping your bottom up is a helpful movement. And then release your bottom back down to the ground, the tailbone, so there's a little gap under your back. And again, as you breathe out, flatten the back, almost scooping up your bottom. And at the end of the exhalation, just imagine a needle and thread just being pulled slightly, pulling your perineum and lower abdomen upwards. There's an upward draft, and then releasing, going the other way. So just the pelvic tilt without any awareness is helpful for the back. These are just extras. And then again, I'll rephrase my instructions. On the L5, which is the base of one of the lumbar, heavy-duty lumbar vertebra, and the S1, which is the sacral area, if you just relax in neutral, press your hands, the heels of your hands against the top of the thighs, and then perhaps scoop your bottom. Did you say, Sue, scooping your bottom upwards is helpful?
I think so. I just said my arms aren't long enough to push against my legs very hard. So I found it easy to push that up and then down.
You can bring your legs slightly, heels slightly closer, but that just opens up the L1, L5. And another way you can access that is to put your palms down on the ground beside your bottom, so your thumb is next to your bottom, and then almost slide your thumb fractionally in under like into your bottom, and just then slide your hands maybe with your thumb over your outer bottom. Just again scooping up the bottom, and that again releases that L5, S1. You've got to do something that feels good for you. It's almost pushing the flesh down on your bottom, lifting the bottom fractionally, just to stretch out the lower back and then releasing it back to the ground. It's a very easy thing to do, but you'll find the movement that works for you. And then carrying on with that theme, palms down on the hand, perhaps walk your feet slightly out towards the edges of the mat. And then just let both legs sway to the right, your left hip will lift. Your head might turn, and I don't mind which direction your head turns in. Bring both knees up to the centre, and then let both knees sway to the left. Your right hip will lift, and your head stays heavy and it might sway. Bring the knees to the centre. Breathing out, let the knees drop to the right again, and your left hip lifts. Your head can turn away from your knees as a classic yoga movement, or if you want to find it goes in the direction of the knees, that's fine. Knees and head back to centre, and start to sway from side to side in your own time. So on the subject of the lower back, as you're swaying from side to side, the wider your feet, the more of a massage you get across the top of your bottom. And you're massaging a point called GB30, which is the gallbladder meridian. So it's very soothing. It's that point that can carry a lot of tension, and people put a tennis ball into their upper bottom, you're covering that point. It's a somatic movement, which means that you're very aware of the sensory feel of the pose. Bottom, back of the head, which also has acupressure points, and we're just moving from side to side. And the sensory aspect is believed to disconnect the mind from it, so it's a de-stressor, a mindful thought process. It's a sensory kind of aspect to it. It's also the very beginnings of rotational movement that you'll find in some of the rehab back training. It's a very safe rotational movement, and rotation starts to lengthen the muscles along the spine. So here we're doing it with our breath from side to side. And then come to the centre. And then hug one knee and then the other knee into the chest. You can widen your knees to kind of be comfortable on your tummy, and then just, as I said, rock from side to side. And you might find that you rock completely, that your elbows come off the ground, but you might rock a little bit. Your head stays heavy, and you're just moving in a kind of oscillating movement, which connects into somatic movement again, and it kind of, the oscillation of the circling is very much connected to you're knocking each other. Sorry. It comes back to sort of like movement that you get in nature, like oscillating circles, spiraling, and how everything moves. So it's deeply, I don't know what the word would be, cathartic. It can be very deeply releasing, very helpful for the lower back, stiff joints. And then come to the centre, and then still holding both knees, let both knees drift to arm's length, open the knees, and circle them back to meet where they were. So you're circling the knees, and your circle could be little or it could be a bigger circle, depending on how much you feel that you would like to circle the thigh and the hip joint. So it is almost the perfect hip exercise. There's no weight on the hip joint, and the movement is controlled by you. And then very gently circle in the opposite direction. So the knees together, they widen, and then as you circle up and meet at the top. Hug them in together, open them and widen. So the hips are where a lot of energy can stagnate, where we see or don't see where we're going forward. Just sort of the mechanics of the body, you can slug up at various joints, and this joint certainly right around the lower back area as well. can all get very stiff. With the hot weather and the natural tendency to dehydrate, there's also the aspect of slugging energy around the abdominal area and constipation, that sort of pile of energy gets stuck a little bit. And then just very, very gently leave that and just release supporting it perhaps underneath the right thigh with your hand, let your right foot drop to the ground. Hug the left knee into the chest. Raise the left leg to the ceiling. Support it underneath your left thigh, clasping your hands, and then extend the left heel. Feel the stretch along the back of the left leg. Point the toes, extend the heel, and then point the toes. And then once more circle the left ankle in one direction, and then circle the left ankle in the opposite direction. And then just very gently walk the hands up the back of the left leg, bringing the left leg towards you, but don't lift your face or neck off. That can strain the neck. If you have a desire that you absolutely do want to do it, perhaps start by placing your hand underneath your head and neck, breathing out, lifting your head up so that you are at least supported as you lift your head off the ground. And then just relax your head if you've chosen that option. Bend your left knee into your chest. Open the left knee out to the left. Rest the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Hands, palms down. And then just very gently sway from side to side. Your hip can lift off the ground. You're opening your hip in a slightly different way. And then very gently hug the left knee into the chest and place the left foot, supporting it onto the ground. Palms down, and just very gently sway the knees from side to side. And then, leaving the left foot where it is, hug the right knee into the chest. And very, very gently drop your hands, clasp underneath your right thigh and raise your right leg to the ceiling, extending your right heel, pointing your right toes, and then circling the ankle in one direction, and then circling the ankle in the opposite direction. And walking your hands up the back of your right leg, bringing the right leg towards you. You can stay here. Again, if you desperately do need to lift up to further get into the core, perhaps take a hand behind the back of the head and neck, breathing out and lifting up so that you are supported. And then just relax the head and neck back down onto the ground. Hug the right knee into the chest and open the right knee to the right, resting it on top of the left thigh, palms down as you very gently sway from side to side. You can opt to sway a lot so that you really are lifting your legs up and over, or you can sway a little bit. And then very gently come back to the centre, hug the right knee into the chest, hug the left knee into the chest too, and just once more rock from side to side. Mindful of space behind you, breathing in, raise the left leg and left arm. You can bend at the elbow if you need to. Behind you, stretching out both, extending the left heel, and breathing out, hugging the left knee into the chest. And breathing in, raise the right arm, extend the right leg, right heel, stretching out, chin goes to chest, and then breathing out, hugging the right knee into the chest. And again, to your own breath pattern, coming back to the left side, raising the left leg and left arm, and hugging the knee into the chest. And then breathing in, raising the right side, Charlotte, I'm very aware that you've got to go. It's 1:45 now, so I'm just giving you a time check. And just do feel
I need to leave at 1.
okay. So then, hugging the knees into the chest, let both knees drift to arm's length. Hugging the knees into the chest, let both knees drift to arm's length. And again, in your own breath pattern, massaging across the lower back, going into the lower, what they call apana energy, the foundational energy. So if that's not right, everything else is out. Very helpful for pain relief, just getting the lower abdominal energy with the organs connected to that moving. Enjoy the hugging in and still holding the knees, releasing them to arm's length. And then holding both knees, just circle both knees in one direction. So you're focusing your weight really at the base of the spine, and your circle is how you want it to be, small or quite wide. So if you've got lower back pain, this can be again a slightly different focus on the lower back. Then of course you've got the option to circle both knees in the opposite direction. And then just come to hug the knees centrally. Support the legs underneath, holding them by the thighs, and place one foot and then the other foot on the floor, hip width apart. And then slide your hands to rest your hands on your abdomen, and your elbows are just a little bit out away from you. You're creating space, a little bit of space now, at the upper lymphatic system, that space under the arms. And again, very familiar, breathing in through the nose, and in your own breath pattern, breathing out through the mouth. And just carry on for a few breaths. Breathing in through the nose, notice the abdomen just rising slightly on the in-breath. And as you breathe out through the mouth, just notice the abdomen, the tummy subtly moves away from the out breath. There's no effort, just as breath comes in and comes out. And then just let the breath go. And focus your thoughts on a thought for the day. It can be for yourself, setting the intention, or for someone close to you. A wish. And mentally think that a couple of more times. And when you've thought, set your intention for the day, just let that thought drift away. Become aware of where you are. Become aware of the sounds inside, here, outside. Become aware of the texture of the clothes on your skin. And the points of the body that connect to the earth. Feet, heels, bottom, back of the head, the elbows. Be aware now of that grounding, connecting to the earth element as we connect to what connects us to the earth. And then very gently in your own time, we're going to come to a seated position to finish the class. So just perhaps hug your legs in, maybe just subtly rock from side to side. Take your time that you're coming up gently and slowly. You can come to a cross-legged position, or if your legs are stiff, you want to have them out, prefer to have them out, then have them out. And then just bring the hands to the heart, breathing in, just open the hands, just feel the air between the fingers. They're connecting to the heart energy, but also to the element of air, the element of the sense of touch. Breathing in, just let the hands drift outwards. Breathing out, chin to chest. A couple more times, it becomes breath work and a moving meditation. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and then breathing out. Take a bow for yourself in the day ahead. And thank you for joining me, everyone.